Drive. Drop it down. Kick it into overdrive. Hmm. What do we want to go with? I'm awesome. Yeah. An upside string. I forget whether or not this one actually has any lyrics in it, but we'll find out. And swap you over. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so what's going on right now? Well, this is a requested build. Someone wants a Kinetics Fire Defender. Well, that is some pretty good lag. We're showing green on the stream, so we'll just go ahead and go through. So this is my Kinelec Defender, Kineticos, and this is, I think, her most recent revision. Let's do enhancements, manage. Okay, this is a scaling build, so she is basically keeps her buffs up and down the level range. So she's still effective in the mid-range. You can see from our defenses up here that she is soft capped to range defense, she's soft capped to energy defense, she's soft capped to fire, and she's soft capped to smashing. She's not quite into AoE defense, but you know, if anyone else is throwing some defense around, say some maneuvers or a cold shield or a bubbly shield, she's into AoE defense as well. So she's pretty well set. She's actually running a melee core embodiment for self-regen and resist, just in case she gets caught in the middle of a fight, and because it also gives status protection. So if she's got to level off Fulcrum Shift from inside of a mob, she can do so. And since the new shocking effect, which, well, now I can just blow these guys out of the water without even trying. So, that's what I got to work with. And so let's get started. Let's find a place to park her where we have a good view of something. We'll head for the tower. Although heading to the tower does put me in the way of the Hamadon seed, but that's okay. Whoa, that was some good lag. Let's try the other way up then. Whoa. Alright, there we go. And I want window 1. Let's move you over here. Okay. And we're going to go Kineticos to fire. And we actually lost quite a lot. But first thing we'll do is readjust our aim. Over here we had 2-hit buff recharge and a proc. So due to proc into hit buff recharge. And we'll put those slots into Fire Breath. Okay. Now, what all did we lose? Okay, we lost a hold. We lost a pet, which was recharge and range defense. We lost fire, cold, and range and energy defense. We lost a frozen blast. Okay. Then we lost a defender ATO. And we lost an avalanche. Okay, we could... Let's start with the defender ATO, and where's our snipe? Our snipe is Blazing Bolt. So we'll start by putting our defender ATO into our snipe. Alright, we can probably safely drop either Fire Blast or Fire Breath. I'm going to go ahead and kind of count on dropping Fire Breath. And where is Scorpion Shield? Scorpion Shield's all the way down here. So we'll think about moving some of this around. Rain of Fire can come up. We want to move our attacks as much up as possible. Blaze at 28. Blazing Bolt at 35. Alright, so Fire Breath and Rain of Fire is at 20. Fireball's at 14. Fire Blast and... Okay, so... Fire Blast and Flares. Okay. Oh, so we'll move Aim down. Transference is in at 26 as soon as it can be. Hasten. We can move Hasten down. Blaze will move to 28. Inferno we can't move. We can now move Kick down. We can now move Tough down. We can now move... Oof. We'll actually swap Scorpion Shield and Tough and Weave. And now with the slots, enhancement slots, auto arrange all slots. And there we go. And now here we can do Web Cocoon. And now we can pick back up our Entomb. Alright, we need a full Avalanche, which we'll be putting into Inferno. I know, for a scaling build with Tough and Weave so late. We'll deal with that in a moment. Because Weave does help with our range defense. But everything else is in. Scorpion Shield is what gives us smashing lethal. But basically our positionals are determined by range. So we kind of want maybe to get Weave earlier in the builds. Alright, so let's go ahead and just move just go ahead and get the slots focused. Okay, so that leaves us Rain of Fire and Blaze. We got the ATO, we got the Avalanche, we got the Hold. We're missing the Thunderous Blast, Frozen Blast, which can go into Rain of Fire. And this also picks up a chance for Immobilize. Okay, and now just for Blaze, we need to pick up some ranged defense. And we can do that through Thunderstrike. Okay, what are our totals looking like? Yeah. That's actually down quite a bit. Oh, combat jumping's not turned on. Let's turn combat jumping back on. Alright, so there's combat jumping, and we just need a little bit of ranged. Alright, blazing bolt would have been sniper blast. Flares. We're already using artillery down there. Alright. And so without the pet function, our best bet for range defense would be in Thunderstrike. Okay, so Thunderstrike, I guess it is. Alright. So there we go. We are into range defense. How much of that is bound up into... Whoa, that's actually a lot bound up in the weave. Okay, what can we move down? Siphon power is kind of useful at low ranges, so as everything down here is useful, except maybe flares, or we could maybe move Fire Blast way late into the build. We can move Fire Blast down. Could move... Transference we kind of need. Hasten is really just here for... Hasten just to make it obnoxiously quick on the recharge. Let me demonstrate real quickly. So we'll kick Hasten up, and we'll do Siphon Speed, and now we'll just go nuke these guys. And my nuke is recharging in 50 seconds. Just to give you an idea of why you'd want Hasten on a kinetics. Okay. Alright, so moving flares down. Moving Fire Blast down. Is there anything else we can move further down the line? Falcon Shift is useful. So useful. Huh. Alright, now, you can actually still make this build in game, but you'd have to do this build as a respecification in order to get the slots where the slots need to go. But this would give you soft caps to smashing, lethal, energy, almost in a negative, fire, cold, and range defenses. Some of those as early as Eden. Now, if you changed some of the powers around, like if you decided to go ahead and just, you only really need hasten at the top end when you're cranking out the nuke. Let's move hasten all the way down. And also, let's do the same thing with aim. Let's move aim all the way down. Blazing bolt at 35, 35, 32. So those are all needed. So the earliest we could do, okay, the earliest we can reasonably do Scorpion Shield would be 41, because you really want your Sniper and your Inferno and Fulcrum Shift. So you're not moving those three. Alright, so this puts Hasten all the way down. So you're supercharging on the back end. And you will be into soft cap for fire, cold, and range defense as early as around 25, 26, 27, 28. Basically, you'll be soft cap if you do Citadel, Moonfire, or soft cap to fire, cold, ranged. Ranged is probably the most important. You can just plink away from a distance and not have to worry. Without having any backup, and then once you get into the higher levels and pick up Scorpion Shield, say like Numina, Eden Trial, you'd be in the soft cap for Smashing Lethal and Energy. Alright, so there we go. There's a quick revamp of a Ken Elect to a Ken Fire. And we'll save this and pass it back to the player who... Alright, I'm actually going to grab some less aggressive music, as I didn't remember Nap being this over the top, so we'll just click into Yasumu, which is a little softer. Okay, so to kind of go over the concept of how do I envision this character being played? Well, I imagine it's going to be quite close to mine, and that on defenders, Tesla Cage is just a minor damage. On Sentinels, Tesla Cage is a damage attack, which is a massive improvement. Makes electric Sentinels feel useful across the entire range, where electric defenders kind of, well, I've always felt underpowered. The shocking mechanic now just makes it a bit lopsided. So I think the layout could be pretty much the same. Sniping 1, charged bolts, and 2, lightning bolts, and 3, the TOE. Some of it may change because you have both Fireball and Rain of Fire, and where you might use Short Circuit to stand in the middle of a mob, you'd use Inferno to blow the mob up. So I don't see the UI possibly needing to change much. I think the effective idea would hold kind of through it, and that is at the low levels, you start off with Transfusion, and Transfusion is your heal. You basically want that first, and up to level 20, everything up to level 20 is what you'll have in Positron Task Force. and that is the lowest task force that you can join. So if you're using this build in Positron Task Force, you would have your primary heal and transfusion. You would have the T1 attack that you can't get around, and it's going to be bringing back and giving you an absorb over time. You have your Siphon Power, which gives you additional damage. We started on Kick and Combat Jumping for air control, and Combat Jumping also gives us some defense. Then we pick up Maneuvers, which is a team buff. We pick up Increased Density, which is our anti-mez, or in this case, this would be, it's not a full anti-mez, but it is very useful against Ghost Widow. It's Soulstorm. We pick up Speed Boost, which is a travel power for our teammates. Again, we're still in Positron Task Force, so we can bump everybody's recharge time and send them careening around the city. We also pick up some range, endurance reduction, and we pick up the knockback reduction for ourselves. Fireball, which is slotted with artillery for the range defense. No procs here to add anything. It's just straight out what you got is what you got. But you're on a kinetics, and you can just cap your own damage, so whoop-de-doo. Siphon Speed, which is your primary travel power, or at least the kinetic primary travel power for the most part at lower levels. Again, if you can get increased density as early as, I'm sorry, not increased density. You can get Siphon Speed as early as level 6. I've got it placed at 16 because, well, getting up to level 16 shouldn't be a problem. And again, this is looking at Positron Task Force. This is also a speed debuff to apply to opponents. Inertial Reduction, which is your team leap or a team super jump. Basically, once you get inertial reduction, you've already got a travel power. You don't need to go spend slots on the travel power. And then picking up Rain of Fire, so you have some more AoE. Going in, again, Positron Task Force. Moving on to Synapse Task Force, you'd pick up Aim, which would put a little bit more oomph into Rain of Fire and Fireball. And we pick up Tough, which is giving us a status resistance and regeneration. Okay, you're on a defender. The regeneration isn't going to be much. This is mostly just there as party trick. I had a slot, so I shoved it in. And then we go Gladiator's Armor. And just pick up the proc for resist. And then we pick up an endurance resist. We're not capping our resist, but again, we're a defender. No matter what we do, our resist wouldn't be going anywhere to begin with. Transference is as early as we can get it. And now we're into Yin Task Force. So this is, we can start draining endurance and refilling our own endurance. Then we pick up Blaze, which is one of our higher DPS powers. And Blaze would equivalent to where I picked up Tesla Cage, but it just does damage. Then we pick up Weave at level 30, and this gives us both our Luck of the Gambler and our Scaling Resist proc. Again, there's some powers and there's some procs in here that aren't going to do a defender much good, because you're not going to have great resist to begin with, but it's there, so I could put it in. Why not? Fulcrum Shift. Now, Fulcrum Shift, just to see, let's see what we got going on totals first. Let's go ahead and get Kick turned off so it stopped messing with our figures. And we are running, looking at Siphon Speed is turned off and Hasten is turned off. So with Siphon Speed and Hasten turned off, Fulcrum Shift has a duration of 45 seconds and a recharge of 27.84 seconds. So Fulcrum Shift is pretty much into Parma before you do anything else. It doesn't accept any enhancement set, so it's right where it's supposed to be with an accuracy and a recharge. And if we click Hasten, well, let's do Siphon Speed first. If we click Siphon Speed on, our recharge falls to 25 seconds. And we click off Siphon Speed and turn on Hasten, we're looking at 21.02 seconds. If we do add in Siphon Speed, we're now at 19.6 seconds. And let's lock off Siphon Speed and bump it up to 2, because 2 stacks is reasonable. And we'll go back to lock off Fulcrum Shift, and we're down to 18 seconds. So basically, you're looking at a realistic sub 20-second recharge time on a power that lasts 45 seconds. You can double stack Fulcrum Shift without sinking recharge enhancements into it. So if sinking enhancements into it doesn't get you anything, why do that? So that's why it's slotted like it is. Some would say it's underslotted. You can't buff anything on it other than the accuracy, the endurance consumption, the range, or the recharge. If you want to take part in it, you've got to be in melee range. So that's adding range to it may help your teammates, won't help you very much. Blazing Bolt, which picks up the other defender, chant for minor PBAOE heal with Quick Snipe. This is probably going to be one of your primary DPS powers. And again, the idea, and since this is a power you're going to be going to a lot, especially if you're in a hardened target fight, the heal's you're basically going to be topping back and forth between flares and Blazing Bolt probably to keep a chain going. Inferno, as kind of already discussed, is getting the Avalanche for the smashing lethal and fire cold defenses. And it also is picking up a knockdown proc from Avalanche, which does mean you do have some mitigation. If you get landed in the middle of a mob, you can just say sit down, and they'll sit down if they're not dead. Scorpion Shield coming in at 41, and that's where we got another look at the Gambler proc, and we're picking up our Shield Wall proc. Web Cocoon just took the only reason I went down this way is I already know that there's a hold in the Mace Mastery set. This is why I don't have to change the slotting up from Tesla Cage from the Elect build, so we keep the same slotting. This also still makes this build useful in a Rickety Mothership raid, because you can be throwing a hold with the rest of the players. Just gives you a little bit more utility. As you can see on the Elect Defender, Tesla Cage isn't really in a 1, 2, 3, 4 rotation, but it's there just in case I need it. And then I moved Fire Blast all the way down to the end because it's a tier 2 power. It's not really adding you very much throughout here. You mostly just want the range defense and fire cold defense from the Winter's Bite. And this lets us get in some other enhancements, other slots earlier. And then Hasten all the way at the end, because you really don't need Hasten. Because with double stacked Siphon Speed, let's turn Hasten off and look at Inferno. With double stack Siphon Speed, you're still looking at around 50 seconds recharge time on Inferno. So you're still under a minute for a recharge on your nuke. That's probably pretty good. Because you're rocking, with Fulcrum Shift turned out, 872 points of damage. With Fulcrum Shift turn, just base Fulcrum Shift with just one enemy, you're already looking at 900. And if we saturate Fulcrum Shift, let's do saturated Fulcrum Shift and Siphon Power. You're probably never going to stack 4 Siphon Powers, so we'll just stack 1 Siphon Power and saturated Fulcrum Shift. And what's our damage on Inferno? You'll be cool. Well, our numbers really didn't change. Implying that we would be cranking out some serious amounts of damage. Oh, that's, I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's broke or not calculating, but I'm not getting changes in the calculations. There we go. There's 872, 949, 2, 949. Okay, so it's apparently not calculating the increased numbers as Fulcrum Shift goes up. Well, okay, nice to know that there's a bug in there. Oh well. Alright, so that's how I kind of like I said, I think it'll line up with what I've got here. And that's what I've got, and now we'll pass this on. Aurian Archive, and